Hi guys, kagagaling na namin sa dinner ng misis ko and may interesting question from Hailey. Kanina sa video natin about yung mga GLP and those who are taking these GLP receptor na black market. So question niyo dito, hello doc, paano naman po yung mga nagbebenta ng compounded materials? Curious lang po, allowed ba ito because they are licensed doctors kahit hindi FDA approve yung product nila na binibenta? Kasi kung FDA approval ang basis ng safety and regulation, applicable po ba regardless kung doktor ang nagbebenta? Gusto ko maintindihan kung paano siya legally and ethically justified, lalo na since mataas ang tiwala ng patient sa doctor at ang nag-aalok at nagbebenta ng product. Number one, we have to delineate kung ano ba ang limitations ng isang doktor in terms of the profession. Okay? Kasi may dalawang avenues dito sa situation, Hailey, na nabanggit mo. Because the role of a doctor is becoming the one that will provide the medical management sa pasyente. Ibig sabihin, siya nagbibigay ng protocol kung ano yung gamot na mas nais sa karamdaman niya. Okay? So, kung ang doktor, ang pangunahing role niya ay magbigay ng management, siya yung usually nag-reseta. Okay? They will also provide the prescription that is based or base sa mga guidelines na aprobado sa Pilipinas at saka sa mga reputable na guidelines, either worldwide or in some selected medical societies that are respected also in the Philippines. Say for example, ang mga gamot kasi ng Ozempic tsaka Mounjaro or your tirzepatide and semaglutide, they are medications solely approved under the management of type 2 diabetes. Okay? And lang siya, parang instill in a consideration ang paggamit ng GLP-1 in obesity as per guidelines na rin kasi nasa outside the country meron ng mga guidelines yan, pero primary use niya ay for diabetes pa rin. So it's within the role of the doctor. Now, ang nabanggit mo dito kasi yung tiwala ng pasyente sa doktor. The doctor needs to assess yung patient kung kailangan niya talaga yung gamot na ito. Okay? Kaya niya ipe-prescribe. Let's say for example, yung pasyente ay type 2 diabetic na obese and the patient has problems in controlling sugar. So, paano niya makokontrol yung sugar levels niya? You have to reduce yung food noise. Yung food noise na tinatawag namin is yung urge niyang kumain, the urge to feed the appetite na maghahanap siya ng snacking episodes. And that is the role of your GLP-1 receptor agonist or yung semaglutide and tirzepatide kasi it will reduce yung appetite or yung hunger o yung food noise na nakukuha ng pasyente during in that disease process. No? Kaya nagkakaroon ng pagpapayat sa mga pasyenteng obese na diabetic patients. Now, ngayon, nakita kasi ng market or ng studies na nagkakaroon siya ng significant weight loss. Kung nagkakaroon ng significant weight loss, they are now lobbying na pwede siya for patients who are obese lang. Okay, regardless kung diabetic siya or hindi. Right now, okay, hindi pa siya within the guidelines. So, it's within the discretion of the doctor kung kailangan ba ng pasyente ito. The sole responsibility ng doctor is it is justifiable and at the same time yung preference ng pasyente is yun na gusto niyang mag-lose ng weight para ma-prevent siyang magkaroon ng diabetes. Kaya magpe-prescribe siya ng semaglutide or tirzepatide na protocol. Now, yung tanong dyan, siya ba dapat ang magbenta? Okay? Doctors are not allowed. Okay? They are not allowed to sell those types of drugs. Those are medications. So where do you buy your medications? first place, binibili mo dapat yan sa pharmacy. Okay? In a reputable pharmacy. I think nandyan yung kaibigan ko sa TikTok, si Sir Nurse Pharmacist, Sir Derek. Okay? Malalaman niya rin naman, aware din siya na medications that are prescribed, RX medications, are dispensed by a licensed pharmacist and not a licensed doctor. Because magkaiba ang role nito. That is the role of an allied professional that is within the realm of a pharmacist. Kami lang ang nagpe-provide ng prescription. Now, if you see doctors that are doing like this, that is way beyond their capabilities or their role as a doctor. Okay? So, that is more of in the side of having a profit-oriented approach. And again, if you are looking at the perspective of being a doctor, dapat yung perspective mo ay patient-centered at ang goal mo dyan ay pagalingin yung pasyente, hindi yung kumita. Now, that will question your intention in that strict sense. Lalo na if you're putting your patient's health at risk, if you are introducing compounded, meaning yung mga compounded na gamot na black market label. Okay? They will be risking their license and also they will be facing possible charges kung let's say for example nagbebenta sila ng compounded na drugs that are not FDA approved kasi it can lead to serious effects kung nagkaroon ng let's say contamination sa binibigay niyang gamot or contamination sa reproduction ng medication na yun kasi siya ang nag-prescribe tapos siya pa nag-dispense. That will be all on the hands of the doctor. And yun nga, it will not be falling within the hands of the person that will dispense it or kung let's say may pharmacist or the pharmacy. Kasi kaya meron tayong pharmacist or pharmacy or botika because they can regulate and trace the lot number and they can pull out the number or the code number very efficiently and store and inventory appropriate medications that have passed quality standards, meaning napasayan sa mga randomized controlled trials na may class A, B, or C, na umabot na sa pwedeng makonsume ng isang tao. Diyan din pumapasok yung problema sa RETA because RETA is still being studied and it's still within the research level, then should not be sold in the black market kasi hindi pa siya allowed dapat sa Pilipinas. But may mga nakakalabas and yun mga tina-target ng FDA. If you are looking into the ethical grounds, again, a doctor should follow the practice by means of the code of ethics na yun lang, patient-centered, it should be on the part of treating the patient and not for the profit. Okay? And the liabilities, kung nagkaroon man ng problema ay, syempre, kung siya yung nagbigay ng gamot, siya pa yung nagbenta, it will be solely the responsibility of the doctor. Okay? And ano pa ba yung mga nabanggit na tanong dito? Yun nga, kung FDA approve yung medication. FDA approve yung medication if it is coming from the company that was approved by the FDA. Okay? Say for example, semaglutide siya na compounded and hindi siya Ozempic, which is yung FDA approved. Okay? Alam nyo kasi, ang approved na Ozempic is around 7,000 to 8,000 per pen. And yung pen na yon may concentration siya that differs from each 3 types of pen. May 0.25, 0.5, and 1. Magkakaiba yung kulay na yon. Compared sa compounded na meron kang ginagamit na vial and at the same time hiringilya, which is very at risk of contamination. At the same time, mali yung possible risk of mali yung storage mo and pwedeng panis or baka magkakaiba yung level ng gamot na nag-prepare doon. Kasi hindi natin alam kung sino nag-prepare doon. So, will you risk your health in a product that is not verified, validated, and regulated? Siyempre, dapat hindi. Kahit sabi mo mas cheaper siya. Just follow what is right, kumbaga. And if you see doctors that are doing this, you would identify, is it for profit or not? I understand kung private practice ito, but private practice has ethical grounds. Kumbaga, it should always follow the code of ethics. And again, it should follow also the respect for other allied health services responsibility. Hindi natin dapat kinakuha yung responsibility na ito from other professionals like pharmacists na dapat nagdi-dispense ng gamot. Okay? So, hopefully nasagot ko yung mga questions mo. If hindi pa, just tell me kung ano pa yung gusto mong malaman, Hailey, kasi it's important na maintindihan nyo yung mga ganitong issues. Kasi madami talamak na. It's been also discussed online or even in mainstream. Kasi di ba may isang episode sa GMA about the Tirze na ang nagdi-dispense hindi pala doktor. They claim doctor pero hindi naman pala siya doctor in the end. Okay, meron din may mga doctors na parang nagsisimula pa lang ang practice but they are the one that is preparing this parang package and then they're sending it. Okay, without knowing if, let's say for example, they have permits, okay, to dispense. Kasi alam ko ang mga pharmacists, they have FDA permits and they also have permits of approval and monitored by a pharmacist kung ano yung way nila ng paggawa nito, pag-create ng protocol na ito. So, you have to check din, verify kung ano saan nyo kinukuha yung mga gamot. And again, ang mga GLP-1 receptor agonist na gamot sa Pilipinas ay hindi po naka-vial. Lahat po na aprobado ay naka-pen, injectable pen. Okay? Semaglutide, Tirzepatide, Ozempic, and Mounjaro are all pen injectables. Hindi sila naka-vial or nakabote. If may mga nakabote, magduda na kayo. Okay? Hopefully, lengthy na to, pero meaningful yung discussion. And the follow-up ko na yung question ni Hailey. Again, this is Doc Chris, your online family doctor, making medicine easy for you to have a healthy life.